Welcome to Wild by Zones, the podcast about reviewing every zone in popular MMO World of Warcraft. I'm Mary.
Warren.
And I'm tired.
All right, and we're going to be talking about.
I like our new guest. Tired. It went sick for the day, so tired is coming to.
I was honestly curious how far I would go before you stopped me from continuing when she introduced herself as tired.
She sounds just like Eowyn, except
like 5%
she's exactly
lower.
the same. She's exactly the same.
5% lower intensity, maybe.
She might talk a little less.
All right, and today we're talking about Ashenvale, the third and really last of the major Night Elf focused zones. Well, there's also Feralus, to be fair, but like the last in like the chain of Teldrassil to Darkshore to Ashenvale. And it is effectively expected to be the third zone you'll go to if you're in Kalimdor, because Stonetalon is shit-ass garbage in vanilla.
Yes, both for Horde and Alliance in this case, actually. The Orcs and Trolls.
Okay, it is so bad. Sorry, I wanted to complain about Stonetalon.
Yes, we just forget about Stonetalon to keep it out of our mind. But yeah, because everyone is meeting in this zone, and what makes it interesting, I think, is that it is in a lot of ways a classic Night Elf zone with your normal furbolgs and trees and elf shenanigans. But
yeah,
there is this new force. It's true. Satyrs too. There's this foreign threat. This group of people sort of expose this world, this space to a new perspective. And I think that seeing how the zone, as we go through it, like is shaped by that fact or is not shaped by that fact is pretty core.
Yeah. If for those who have not played Warcraft 3, Ashenvale Forest is the place where like about half of the Orc campaign and most of the Night Elf campaign takes place in the base game.
That is not true.
It's like
three. It's like 3 missions in
Ashenvale. That's still a big chunk of the Orc campaign, to be fair.
There's like 10. Whatever.
The point is, like, a large part of the narrative takes place here, where like the Orcs show up, the Night Elves attack them without warning, and then the Orcs become evil and swole, and then kill a bunch of Night Elves. Including their demigod Cenarius, and this causes problems in the long term.
No, and the short term comes back like 7 times.
And the short term. What do you mean in the long term? They also killed a bunch of people in the short term and conquered a bunch of land.
Yes.
Yeah, but Braun looks so cool when he does it, so it's fine.
True. Hey, and the Night Elves attacked first.
That is true.
Actually, that's not true. The Orcs attacked first because they cut down the trees, and the trees have spirits in them. So technically,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but that's their fault. Should have talked to the tree first. You gotta check if there's spirits in the tree.
Reminder from the Wild by Zone campus that every time before you cut down a tree, you must commune with spirits and check to make sure there's no leftover Night Elf spirits living in there.
Especially if the tree is purple. If the tree is purple, it obviously has a spirit in it. God.
And if you cut down the tree, then you'll bring the entire brunt of the vengeful Night Elf people on the heads of your family, and I don't think you want that.
I mean,
they won't talk to you because you have demon blood in you, so you're obviously automatically evil.
Which, I mean, that does sort of talk to like the Night Elf's status in Warcraft 3 as effectively a xenophobic, somewhat like apex predator that has never needed to really meaningfully engage with other like other beings here, which is why they just go right to just kill them all, which sort of speaks to their relationship with the Furbolg. But that's not really how
that's not how they interact with the Furbolg in Warcraft 3.
True. It's more how they interact with the Furbolg in WoW, which is weird.
Yeah, but that's because WoW has bad writing around the Furbolgs.
That's true. So the main settlement that you go to is a Night Elf town of Astronar. It's a little bit bigger than the settlements in Darkshore, but it doesn't have like a big port. The main which because it's an MMO, you go there and it's like, hey, there's problems. You got to go deal with the problems, which don't really feel like they have a central connection aside from a generic sense of the corruption. There's bad stuff. The most memorable of which they go to in Astronar is this dude who has having issues with his daughter who is dying of some non-specified disease. And you spend like half the zone just finding various cures that don't work, and then coming back and being like, "Oh no, the cure didn't work. You have to go do this other thing." And it sounds like I should remember. It should be more memorable than it is, given how much of the zone and like real estate is taken up by like traveling across the place, meeting night elves and dryads, and like communing with a moonwell, and like helping this kid with her disease. And
I actually think this quest is memorable personally, because this is like I played this quest back in vanilla, and I actually remembered it. It's the only quest I remembered from Ashenvale.
That's fair. And it is kind of cool to see like a smaller scale thing be like as important as it is because of the night elf population, given the like somewhat callous treatment the night elves have towards outsiders, having them like, we are expending like massive amounts of resources to save one life.
Well, it's literally cool. Just her dad.
Well,
but the community gets together and helps out. Like they it's not just you and the dad. Like there's like a whole community around that is trying to solve this problem.
Well, it's interesting too when he compares that to how the night elves treat the furbolgs, who are also affected by a sickness of a different type. One that makes them aggressive. It's interesting how that contrast of how they should treat the furbolgs, who are also their ancient allies and friends and supposed, should be a part of their community in a way, but they don't give them that same level of respect or care to try to help them out.
The thing you have to remember is that the daughter is sexy, and the furbolgs aren't as sexy, so they don't deserve as much
measure
help.
Is a non-cute.
Mm-hmm. Where did the disease actually come from? Was it just like a natural one, or was it unnatural?
I think it's implied that it's somewhat related to the corruption that the satyrs are vaguely causing, but it's not really anything explicit saying. The quest pretty much ends once we find a cure, which I think involved like water from the moonwell and like the blessing of a loon and some like nature spirit stuff. I don't remember entirely, admittedly.
It makes sense. You would have a night elf zone. You do the whole night elf thing. We have, look at our weird hippie ritual, purification ritual. Now everything is cleansed and good now, except for the furbolgs. They're not cleansed.
Mm-hmm. No one ever tries to just bathe them in the moonwell, though. Have we tried it yet? I've never seen a quest where you bathe a furbolg in the moonwell, so I think it might work.
I want to quest you inhabit an ancient, and you like go and grab furbolgs and like toss them into like moonwells.
Blizzard, hire us. We have good ideas. I guess we should probably talk about the furbolg, because the furbolg do take a place, like a big chunk of the zone are taken up by like hostile furbolg tribes that you have to like you have to deal with in some way by killing, usually by like killing a bunch of corrupted furbolgs to make them like not to like strike fear into them, or to like just, I don't know, cull the numbers a bit so they are not threatening to the night elves.
Pretty fucked up, not gonna lie.
Most of it is pretty similar to the stuff we've already done in Darkshore, though there's one particularly interesting part. There's one very low-level furbolg hermit just hiding in the in a tiny corner of the woods, and he's marked as hostile, although he's extremely low level, so it won't really pose a threat to you if you choose to attack him. To communicate with this furbolg, you get together a staff of. Oh yeah, that reminds me. There's like a whole like quest line about some of the corruption that's going on with like this druid and this evil wizard who like is long dead at this point. That was kind of weird, right? Like there was like all this mention of this, there was some kind of evil wizard who had like come in here and caused a whole bunch of problems. Not Earthreakus Nerazin, like a whole different guy.
But we should stick to talking about the furbolg first.
I'm only mentioning that because it's part of that quest is where you get Dartol's Rod, which has the ability to turn you into a furbolg. And when you're there, you get the ability to talk to this guy, and he's like, "Oh my god, there are some furbolgs that aren't corrupted here, thank God." And I want to, and like he talks like about like how the leaders of the furbolgs need to be dealt with and removed so that the corruption cannot spread. But he doesn't blame them. He says, "Oh, the source of this corruption is, of course, the night elves.
The night elf arrogance is what he says,
which has caused it." And like, I wonder if that's related to the problems in Teldrassil. I wonder if there's some kind of thematic link that's going on in the vanilla WoW issues.
Yeah,
I think it's Tyrande's fault.
Is that the only the reason they give? Are these the thistle fur you're talking about here, or the other ones?
It's
These are the other ones.
Other ones, okay, because I think the thistle fur actually was corruption is done by was they were corrupt because of the trolls.
Okay, that's actually mentioned in the vanilla version of the Horde side.
It's not, but we still have a quest where we have to go and get our charms back from.
Yeah, it's
confirmed
in the Cataclysm side that's what's happening, because you get a quest where, like, if you play through all vanilla Ashenvale and all of Cata Ashenvale, especially if you do both sides, it's very clear that these are troll charms that are corrupting the thistle furs.
Yeah, and it's interesting because thistle fur, like, historically have been a pretty, like, close alliance to the. They don't know what's going wrong, right? And
yeah.
And later in Cataclysm, they assume that they specifically say the trolls are explicitly giving them these charms to corrupt them. But for on the Horde side, the Horde basically like feel like they wandered this area and they were just like attacked like crazy. They before attacked them before the first thing before they even were traveling for the very first time. Their caravan was taken and a bunch of like troll charms fell into their hands, basically taken as like a war prize by the Fortbells. And that is what corrupted them, right? And for us, we have no idea what corrupted them. For us, for the idea of the Horde is that these guys were always crazy, like aggressive, like creatures, right? It's only the Tauren who are like, you know what, Furbolgs are cool. And the trolls are like, yeah, that's clearly not, clearly not.
They stole a bunch of our stuff and
killed a bunch of our people. Yeah, so we go back and we recover them, right? And that's a big part of the quest. It's actually a very annoying, difficult quest because it is a very dense cave with all these Furbolgs. But that was interesting how this element of corruption is not some sort of like arcane monstrous thing. It is just like the thing that the trolls brought with them from their own home that is then like transplanted into this new space, which I'm more on that later.
Very invasive species feeling, like accidental environmental impacts.
For sure, yeah. It's interesting because I feel like it's very strongly conscious against the orc invasions, which is much more sort of explicitly colonialist. And I thought it was interesting to keep the difference between the trolls and the orcs are, which I
agree.
Are things always.
That's why trolls are sexy and based, and orcs are just like.
And Tauren's the actual base one because they're like, hey guys, we just like not kill the Furbolgs? That doesn't really make sense. They're kind of cool guys.
Yeah, but I'm not a furry, so I'm not into the cow guys. So.
Fair enough. But yeah, I just thought that's interesting. Because on the Alliance side, the Furbolgs are this ancient, used to be ally, but now we have to deal with this threat. For the Horde, they are like, we see them as almost like one of our main enemies here. Like, though they are basically an enemy army, an enemy tribe who are disputing our claim over the area, and we must then defeat them. Right? A big part of one of the quests you have in not with the Thistle Fort, but the other ones, the other guys, I don't remember their name, is that we have to go set up flag down and to show that we are great warriors and deserve their respect. And afterwards, they don't attack us anymore. They like leave. They let the Horde in peace. Like basically saying, "Oh, you guys have proven your power to us," which makes sense, right? It's a very orc / troll sort of tribal approach to like conflict, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yep, makes sense. So that's what you're doing with the foul wield, while we go kill Rand Bloodtooth and get his skull. Yeah, and we just don't go. We don't know what's up with the System 4. They seem insane and crazy. And we're like, these guys are freaks. We just want our stuff back. Well, I didn't mention that this is a zone that comes off of Darkshore, and the quest line that we mentioned earlier with Athricus Narison, that continues into this quest line, into this zone, with the where you find the most memorable NPC in the zone. Weirdly, who's not a night elf but a human paladin named Delgrin the Purifier. Can you remind us what was the quest with Articus Narison in the last zone? Yes. Okay. So Athricus Narison, if you remember, was an evil highborn noble at very old, who has and again, remember, only the like night elves should still be immortal on account of they had until just now when like the Nordrassil was destroyed due to demon fuckery. This is a highborn
Archimond.
Yeah. Athricus Narison was a highborn nobleman who promised salvation in the flood to a bunch of refugees, and effectively killed all of them and trapped their souls to be used as fuel for himself and his followers. Delgrin the Purifier is a human paladin who's been hunting him and his people for some time. They have that quest going on here, and it's interesting in contrast to the way that the dwarves and gnomes are characterized in Darkshore. The human Delgrin is portrayed as like a very good forward guy, and the elves are like, I know we're not like big fans of outsiders all the time, but Delgrin's on the up and up.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's the one hunting Arcus, because Arcus is basically a remnant of, you could almost like say a remnant of an old civil war, right? In the elves, right? So and Delgrin is an outsider of like a new alliance outsider coming in to sort of like pursue these sort of internal politics of elves in this weird sort of like back looking place, years back when he actually became like a spirit and stuff. I thought that's kind of interesting as a contrast, right, against say that the orcs and the trolls, who are different kind of sort of outside people moving into internal elf conflicts, say the furbolgs and the elves here.
No, to be fair, the other main quest giver is a night elf in Darkshore, Balthul Shadowstrike, the guy who's been taking an eye on the tower this whole time, the evil mage tower, where Athricus lives the whole time. So there is that, like that is them like working together for this, and I think it sort of gets to like what the Night Elf and Human Alliance really is, which is like we hate
demons.
Yeah, no, it's more like two disparate peoples working towards a common goal.
Yeah,
they're friendly. They're friendly because of like realpolitik reasons, and from that friendliness, they become actual friends, like Delgrin and Balthul have. It's kind of cool. I like the way that like sort of ties into like the way the Night Elves fading xenophobia and them opening up to the world has opened up their relationships to other people, etc. Anyway, you go. Anyway,
I would argue that Ashenvale is a strong example of how Night Elf xenophobia is fading, but still very present in
definitely.
all the ways they extreme with the way.
I mean, things are very selective, and the way the relationship with the humans is different is interesting to look at to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, I really think it's because the humans are coming to solve their own internal dispute that they can't solve themselves. Almost like an admission of their own failure and weakness, right? Their own corruption that destroyed the literal world at one point, right? I thought that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. Now, of course, with Athricus, he has an evil cult. You disrupt the actions of the evil cult, which is vaguely associated with the corrupted satyr. You kill his lieutenant. Like it's generally like a fairly like simplistic quest where you go through, deal with like a bunch of stuff, break his evil crystals that have the souls of some of the highborn that he like imprisoned there because he's a dick. Go up to the tower and kill him. Fairly simple. Like go up to the tower and kill him, and get a book where you learn that Athricus Narison is only one part of this problem. So, the Shadow Council, right? The Shadow Council is an organization of, we've talked about it a few times in the orc quest lines, an organization associated with the orcs. They once ruled the old horde from the shadows. They serve demons, etc., etc. Athricus Narison, who has been here for much longer than the orcs have been here by a long shot, claims that his cult, the humans, orcs, and otherwise in his cult of the Dark Strand, is one part of the Shadow Council. So this organization is effectively these subversive cults that serve demons and their interests in this world is far bigger than just the Shadow Council as presented in Warcraft 1 and 2, and is effectively portrayed here as, well, an interplanetary organization, effectively, because remember, orcs are from space.
Yeah, you have the Shadow Council, you have the demons, the part of the quest, you have the satyrs, so you have Black Fathom Deeds, right? And you have the orcs, right? And all of these things are these different elements of demon corruption on one level or another, right? And it's kind of interesting how so much of the zone is taken up by that, but it's so little of the actual like engagement zone is about demons.
Yeah, that's the thing.
What's Black Fathom Deeds? We haven't talked about that.
Oh,
that's true.
That's really important thing to mention.
So this zone has a dungeon called Black Fathom Deeps, and I want to say I really like the vanilla version of Black Fathom Deeps. It's really cool the way like you have this like initially seems to be just like, oh, hey, there's a bunch of Naga that like set up this stronghold here that you like delve into the deeps of this like big watery cave, kill some Naga, beat this big turtle, and come to the ruins of an ancient like ancient Night Elven ruins. This beautiful like white stone overgrown with moss. These are like old highborn ruins where this evil cult known as the Twilight's Hammer has made its place here, and are servants of something called the Old Gods. I believe this place is the first time that the Old Gods and the Twilight's Hammer are mentioned in the game.
I think they've been alluded to with a few like things you could find here and there. I think
Oh, that's true. They were in that's true. There was that's true. They were in Darkshore with the
yeah, and I
with the
think
Master's Glaive.
a couple of the dwarf things like mentioned very like briefly on the Old Gods.
But this is the first time you like fight
engage with it as a thing, like an actual threat in this world.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about this thing, right? You can see it as like this specific organization of these, like, these Twilight Lords holding on, as like this weird rebellious strand, like looking to when they used to have power and looking forward to when they will again, right? But it's not like the final boss is the zone is this organization. It is Akumai. It is a Hydra. It is a basically chaotic beast twisted by old god magic. It is, which these things sort of all these characters, they're not worshiping necessarily, but it's like they sort of exist in like reference to that beast, right? It's the organization of the Twilight's Hammer is basically what they worship, but their actual goal is very unclear, and it's in the zone you don't really get any sense of it, right? You get a sense of is these people are just here. Are they worshiping this monster? Or is that like what their whole point is? Are they like in thrall to it? Like I really have the unclarity that lack of clarity that Black Veil Deeps has by putting this just monster at the end of it.
Oh yeah, it's not clear exactly what there's going on and what they're doing. We just know it's bad.
Yes. But it's specifically bad in the level of it's mad, right? These people are they don't have a goal. They aren't some kind of like specific rebel organization ready to strike back at the Night Elves and take over Ashenvale, anything like that. When every other group so far has been such organized, the demons, the satyrs, the Night Elves, the orcs, the Furbolgs, somewhat not like on the same level, but these people like they have the trappings of an organization that would be basically a giant army down here, but they don't actually exist as that. They exist in relationship to that monstrous chaotic force. I thought that's a really cool way of introducing the Twilight's Hammer to begin with, especially in contrast to literally the rest of the zone.
I just wish Cho'Gall was there. He's my boy. So
I think that would be a little early to introduce Cho'Gall in the story.
No. But he's so cool.
The other big problem that you have to deal with, in addition to like the demon cult, and the Naga and the Furbolg, is satyrs. Yeah, there's evil satyrs. They're doing evil satyr things. They're like in camps, kidnapping people, kidnapping and slaughtering dryads for their evil rituals. There is, in fact, the main questline where you deal with one of the satyrs is called Vile Satyr: Dryads in Danger, where you go to try to rescue a dryad from this group of satyrs, which are, if you remember, corrupted night elves transfigured into demonic forms because of the Emerald Nightmare.
That's so base.
And, well, you take bloody... You once you fail to save her, you take bloody vengeance and kill as many satyrs as you can.
So I think that's important to... Like, the person who sends you to go find her is another fawn. Fawns are portrayed as super, super peaceful, benevolent nature spirits. So after her friend is killed, like it's almost like a shocking change to see her get so angry. She's like, no, we have to fucking kill all these bastards. Yes. It's like, whoa, I did not expect that from a fawn, but respect.
Yeah,
okay.
I know something that might make me feel better. Kill all of them.
Yeah, it was like, it's pretty wild tone shift for the girly.
A bit. Do you deal with the satyrs as well?
We do, but I'll talk about that when I do my overview of the Horde side, because I think it's attached to that sort of thing.
Fair enough. The most memorable part of the zone, I feel like, is a quest line about Worgen. So there's a bunch of Worgen, which are which are like hostile, aggressive wolf people. We fought a bunch of them in freaking Silverpine Forest. That are tucked away in like one particular thing, roaming the lands near one of the druid shrines. you run into them effectively when you're trying to track down one missing Night Elf Sentinel who's been trying to investigate what's going on with the Worgen and something called the Scythe of Elune. The Scythe of Elune is an artifact of a long time ago that a bunch of Night Elves say this is a dangerous path you must pursue to seek this thing. Be wary of what might happen. And it turns out Aurigel did not make the Worgen, as you initially was presented in Silverpine Forest. No, he only hooked into something that was already there. The curse is actually of Night Elf, and we learn over the course of this thing, tracking this down. And by the way, it's a very well put together quest, learning this information slowly over time, making a long trek to through Booty Bay up to Duskwood, the next zone we're going to be going to, which is the human zone of Duskwood. And by the way, can I say I really liked the reaction the goblin and human NPCs have to having a night elf travel all the way up. Is this doesn't happen all that often. We don't see much. The goblin saying, "Hey, we don't see much of your kind of this parts," but here you go. Because of course goblins will, of course, take anyone's money is good, as long as they have money. Capitalism.
Incredible little aside there. Anyone's money is good.
Capitalism.
As long as they have money. As anyone has money. My God, legendary.
Sorry. Yes, but sorry. Back to the main thing. You find the Night Elf's broken body in a cave filled with Worgen, where she states that she failed, that the Scythe's power is unleashed, and there will be no recovering it, and the curse of the Worgen is upon this world. And you're just left with this vague sense of foreboding of what might come. And that's it's kind of like Lovecraft-ish, where you're seeking this person's notes, and you found that at the end she failed and fell to madness, and I think it's say that and tried her best, and ultimately this some things when started cannot be undone. And
it was a really cool quest line. I also think the implications around Worgen are interesting because you kind of just assume they're like some sort of weird experiment, like a human that got bit by, typical lycanthrope tropes. But it turns out, you find out that the Scythe of Elune literally summons them from, a nature dimension, like a bestial nature dimension or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a weird implication of what Worgen are. It's so these are literally otherworldly beings. We already have so many of those, so yeah, I guess adding more is good.
Actually, this whole I didn't see this quest at all from the Horde side. There's no mention of these guys in the Horde side, which
it's really
kind of
cool.
sad. But I want to say that I really like the first time you introduced to Worgen, right? Is going to be from the perspective of the undead, right? And the Horde specifically, and then you never get to see it from the that side for a while after that. Where then you see it from here, from the Night Elf version, right? For the undead, they're just some kind of terrifying ghoul, monster that's been harnessed by this terrifying mad magician, right? But for you guys, it's this specific tragic curse basically of this Night Elf origin. You're and just piecing together the world from these different little fragments. Something I think Classic just does really, really well. Everyone, you always get to just see a very narrow clipping of what that thing is in totality, and that thing to actually get that whole thing, you have to play every single zone. I think which is kind of what we're doing, right? But it's interesting who gets to see what and why, and I just love that element of Classic WoW.
I really do. It's really good. I really do like the way the Worgen thing is done here. And it's possible that the power that Valinda Starsong and that Archmage Aurigel tapped into, I bet there's going to be more we're going to learn about this when we do Duskwood, which has a bunch more Worgen in it.
Exciting. I like Duskwood.
And this artifact called the Scythe of Elune is this along the last quest line here, and it really was, I think, the most memorable and probably the best part of the zone. I know I'm getting ahead of myself with that one, but yeah. And here's the weirdest part. Remember how I mentioned there was orcs and demons here causing problems? There are no quests to deal with the orcs and the demons. Well, aside from the demon cult, but and the satyrs, but there's a big part of the zone that's tainted and covered in demons. and another part that's like clear cut and covered in a bunch of orc lumber people that are causing problems. And they're not marked as PvP enabled. Like, these are enemies that you theoretically could kill, and they're just not really in the zone. Like, you deal with the Forsaken because they have oh yeah, I forgot to mention this part. The Forsaken like did something horrible to the druids in the Baradens in one of the parts they conquered.
They turned them into goo.
Yeah, ripped their spirits from their bodies and transfigured their bodies into toxic sludge. It's actually kind of cool. Like, this is part of the disease curing questline that you're trying to find a druid staff, and they basically say, we don't know what happened here, but something bad happened when the Forsaken came here. We haven't heard from the druids in some time. And you don't get this item from the spirits. You get it from the sludge. And I love that. And when I like realized, I was like, oh my god, that sludge, those sludge, that used to be the druids' bodies until whatever the Forsakens did cruelly dissolved them.
Yeah, pretty horrific.
Yeah. And you do at one point go into the Baradens and like put their spirits to rest. Fucked up. And you'd think that like the Forsaken would be like, you would deal with the Forsaken as part of like the Horde and like their conquest here, and you just kind of don't. You effectively deal with the Forsaken as if they're their own problem on the same level as the Satyrs, the Cult, and the Black Fathom Deeps and the Furbolg. And
that's interesting because on the Horde side, there's not a single Forsaken quest in the area. We don't even the war leader doesn't even know they're Forsaken in the place. They're acting entirely autonomously from the Horde here.
Huh.
They have nothing to do with the Horde in presence there.
That's really strange.
Yeah. Which I think I want to go over, like, you do a brief overview of how the Horde side of this whole zone works. I think the Horde experience of Ashenvale is completely different. Like, the very first quest you get in, this guy's like, he's like, hey, you're going to Ashenvale. This is contested territory. We are an army in here, and you must be. I want you to go and check on our 3 outposts, our 3 outrunners, who are sort of show the different like level of our control over this area, right? And so you get these quests, right? All right, this quest will be the first quest you get and the last quest you complete in the whole zone, right? The very first time you send you off, and the last one is the very last outrunner you get to deliver your message to, and you get to see the state of the Ashenvale, right? And one of the first things you do, you walk in the zone, you're okay, cool, I'm gonna go and do this, I'm gonna go find the thing, and just like you're struck, but just like you walk from the Barrens into Ashenvale, and it's just this crazy change from like that sunny, like sun-baked savanna, like everything's yellow and orange, into the just purples and like greens, and just like it's kind of haunting as like a moment. You're like, and like the music goes from this like just shifts, and everything just feels quieter and more terrifying. I really like that. But one of the first things, you walk forward and you basically find this band of orcs, and they're like, "Hey, we're about to invade that elf outpost over there, Silverwing outpost. You want to join us?" And you're like, "Okay, hell yeah, we'll go and do it." And so you just like you just ran across him as you were trying to deliver this message, and you guys go in, and there's this big battle. And he talks about how great he loves like night elf, like they're a bit skinny, but they're great warriors. This is like such a beautiful thing we're doing here. And this guy's very classic orc, just like he just loves the battle. He loves the war. He's like, and they fight and eventually get the leader out, and they conquer the outpost, and that's how we open the zone. And once you realize this outpost is the last night elf outpost on the left, on the eastern third of the zone. The entire eastern third of the zone has fallen at this point, which is really interesting. That is never mentioned in the night elf state. I think it's part of like their whole like hyper insular sort of thinking, right? They can't even like imagine the fact that the orcs are pretty close to conquering the zone. They have 2. They basically just have Silverwing Refuge left and Ashadar, and they will have control of the zone. And basically his last thing was like, we're going to start planning for our mounting attack on Silverwing Refuge. Something I really like about Silverwing Outpost is that these sorts of event quests are very uncommon in Classic WoW. We talked about this in the Barrens. We had that one event quest where we fought the Centaur. This was that, but way cooler in my mind, because it was just like this awesome, like just this group of like orcs. They were all acting semi-autonomously. They're like, no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna attack this thing. We can't wait any longer before sort of support comes in. So they go in, and in the middle of the battle, as you're attacking it, a big sort of night elf a contingent that have been sent from Silverwing Refuge comes in, and you defeat them as well. So it's like he was right to sort of worry about that sort of the protection. But he also like makes a comment at the end. It's like it's kind of weird that they didn't. This is a pretty big fight, but that they didn't send more. Right? They have more of an army here. Why were we allowed to take this? We were more expecting to sort of throw out the army. That was more his goal, and he was just sort of like left scratching your head. And that's how you begin the zone. It's just crazy like cinematic start. Okay, and then but then the very first of the 3 missives you have to bring to find the different scouts is the lowest level zone, which is the far end of the zone. Right? It is. And Ashenvale is one of the biggest zones in the entire game. So you have to walk takes 10 minutes. It's gotta be even more probably to just walk across the whole zone. And you're just like sort of struck. Everybody's going for this like violent, like intense beginning, just like moving through this space, like seeing the forest, seeing the weird odd carvings on little braces, seeing the weird creatures you've never seen before, and just the music playing. It's I think the great is intro to the zone. It's just like wander through the space for such a long time, just sort of forced to like engage with its majesty until you get to Zoramgar outpost on the far coast, which is one of the 2 main quest giving zones. And Zoramgar outpost is we talked about the quest you get from a little bit. That's where they're having trouble with the Furbolgs and the Naga because they're near Blackstone Deeps. The trolls are like, oh my goodness, it's There are Naga here. There's old gods here. What is going on here? This is not what I expected. I thought this was like an old Night Elf controlled zone. And you basically do nothing with Night Elves for this entire area, the Zoramgar outpost, because like for you just realize that there's just so much more important things. Like we have to show our dominance of the Furbolgs, or take our charms back. We have to defeat the Naga threat. We have to put this here, and it's always presented as sort of like this weirdly wondrous thing. Like, oh, we are invaders, but like we are just in all of this strange, beautiful space with all these different peoples and cultures and ideas that we just have no access to. And the trolls seem especially appreciative of that because I think due to their own like lack of a home quality to them. And I thought that was really interesting how like compared to the Night Elf area where it's all sort of like, oh, we are Night Elves, we are doing Night Elf problems, and anything else is just sort of extra. For the trolls, it's very much in like this is a space we are engaging with, and we are outsiders to this space, and so therefore we must try to make sense of it on different levels. We must like explore, we must learn how to show our dominance to the Furbolgs. Like basically, we are performing as Furbolgs, and I think that the Furbolg one is interesting because the foul leads are corrupted Furbolgs, correct?
Yes, they have been.
We never know about corruption, not corruption, because outside of a couple of Tarans who make comments about it. Because for us, Furbolgs are always threatening, and so we go to the foul wheel, but we don't treat them like corruption. We basically like have some battles with them, and then eventually we go and stamp our sword flag down, and they fight us until the chief shows up. We defeat the chief, and then the rest of the Furbolgs become sort of, and they're basically like, oh yeah, we've cowed them, we've controlled now, and it's almost like this weird thing where the Horde treats the Furbolgs with a little more respect than the Alliance does in this regard. They aren't just like I feel like the Alliance often treats them as this sort of like poor, like corrupted, like semi-savage creatures, where the Horde's like, no, these are a formidable opponent we will treat as such. And I thought that's an interesting contrast there. And when you go through things, you go through similar things with a lot of the expressions, right? The Naga, right? The Naga are like, because the Night Elves, Naga have such a specific relationship. I assume that there's some kind of like weird, like, oh, this is our past, that sort of thing. For us, we're just like, oh, these are we know about Naga, but we have to like we need to like understand that this is some new space. We had no idea they'd be here. We wander into the Black from the Beast and like, oh my goodness, what is this old god place, and so on. And that's that sort of troll approach. And I think it's interesting you have to walk all the way across the entire zone again to get to the orc perspective, but split tree post. And that perspective is much more sort of like what we talked at the beginning. They're much more warlike, much more intense, but they're very much, how do I say it? Still like with a lot of respect for the Night Elves, right? There's like, this is a great people. We are doing a great thing by conquering these great people. Was like one like line, like it's like sort of like this is our like our destiny, right? This very like there's a very manifest destiny sort of approach that the orcs take here, right? Like and like you also have the goblins there, which sort of like are like exploiting the whole way, right? For example, like the satyrs, satyrs are a corruption of Night Elves. There's some strange, creepy, like very horror-esque creature. We're like, the goblin's like, I want their horns. They're cool. And that's how we engage with satyrs.
That's so funny. We both have the same quest, whereas one is just like, hey, this is a dryad tainted by the blood that was spilled. and turns to violence because violence breeds violence.
Stop.
But in the end, it has to be this way. Sorry.
But yeah, no, I agree. It's really strange how we engage with all these same things, but they're so completely differently colored, right? And I think that the strongest sense of sort of the weird separation between the Horde Alliance is covered after Splinter Tree. Once you get to the far east of the zone, and you see this giant Warsong Lunger camp, which is like cleared out, like it's like in games, like in game I assume is like dozens of miles of trees, right? It's just this huge. It's one of the biggest buildings I've ever seen in WoW. Like it is enormous. It's just there's huge amounts. Like there are hundreds of NPCs, like just like running around, like cutting around trees, that sort of thing, right? And there's like these weird like little remnants of the Night Elves, right? You have like those weird little like creepy totem carving things. I'm not sure if those are Furbolg or they're Night Elf, but you see in a lot of Night Elf zones. There's all that sort of remains, and you have that, and you have this sort of like blasted land demon area like over like there, and that's this whole like corner of the zone, and you're just sort of like, I think you're kind of like meant to sort of think, oh, is this where the rest of the zone is going? Is this what's going to happen? Because these Night Elves are so internally like obsessed and have no understanding of what's going on in relation to them, and while the Horde slowly and carefully conquers this whole area with a weirdly specifically thoughtful sort of approach to the different like species and controlling creatures here. I don't know. I just thought that's really interesting as a contrast. I am obsessed with this zone. It's on a horror perspective. It is just like one of the coolest ways of depicting like the weird sort of experience of like colonial power, but contrasted against like that same sort of explorer adventurer sort of like awe at what this place is. I know that's really cool.
That is pretty cool. I do feel like it is worth mentioning with regards to layout. It sounds like the setup worked pretty well for the Horde. Like the pacing of the zone felt good in terms of like as you like moved from place to place and then saw.
It did bit perfect not perfect, but like close to perfect pacing for me. Honestly, once it gets to the orc show at the end, it's a little meandery, but like not too bad.
The pacing of the Night Elf side of the Alliance part of the zone is bad. The fact that that the only major settlement is Astronar, which again is somewhat like meant to be like narrative about like, oh hey, we've lost control of like large parts of the zone, but mechanically, Ashenvale feels so fucking big. Like it is, I think as long if not longer across than the Barrens is tall, and the fact that you and like the Dryad that you have to go to for the quests that go back and forth for the quests to deal with the fucking satyrs is like on the whole opposite side of the zone, and it does hurt the quest's pacing to do that way outright. And I get kind of this idea is that like that way there's enough time for like the Dryad to have been killed, I guess, but like it still makes it suffer because of the fact that and because this is classic WoW in a like level 20-30 zone, you're just sort of walking across the whole darn thing for such a long amount of time. It really suffers. It really does make the rest of the zone like feel worse with the way the late game is like just trudging through it. And TBC does change this. There's a camp in the northwest that has one quest in vanilla that they put a bunch of Draenei into. They moved some of the Night Elves from the Shrine of Asina in the west to another location, to another ruin in the north, near Saturnar, along with adding some druids, along with adding some quests to deal with the orcs cutting down trees and the demons in the southeast. But we didn't really get to see that because that was added in TBC.
What do you make of the lack of quests for that sort of thing? Because the more I think about it, the more I actually like that you guys don't deal with that threat. Because I think it actually sells that sort of like elven sort of xenophobic internality. They don't even think about this space as being something so important.
Okay, personally, I think the reason why it exists like that is because I think because Warsong Gulch is supposed to be the thing that presents the actual violence between the Horde and the Alliance, especially on the Alliance side. And because of that, they're like, we don't really need to do anything else except give them the little starting quest that brings them to Warsong Gulch, and then they can talk to the people and do the battleground. Which I look-y think like some of it was just like, okay, we have this thing in here which does the job of the thing that we need.
Makes sense.
Especially because Kalimdor was kind of rushed compared to Eastern Kingdoms.
That is true. We do know that that's the case.
Yeah.
The most fortified part of the zone.
I think that's a game design / timing issue.
Speaking of the PvP battleground, the most fortified part of the zone for the Night Elves is, of course, the easternmost war settlement, the Silverwind Refuge, or whatever it's. Yeah, I think it's called Silverwing Refuge or something like that.
There's Silverwind and there's Silverwing. Which one are you talking about?
Silverwing.
Wait, the Silverwing falls, and that's the quest I told you at the very beginning of the zone.
No, it's Silverwind.
Yeah, there's Silverwing. I'll show you.
Guys, we can look at a map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll put a map in there.
Regardless,
see the silver wings, that area there. That falls to the Horde the moment you start the zone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're talking about Silverwind.
No, I don't think we are, because I'm talking about the entrance.
The place with the
entrance. No, the lake is different. The lake
entrance
you deal
to
with.
what?
The entrance to Warsong Gulch, the Alliance side entrance to Warsong Gulch, which is at Silverwing, I believe.
Oh yeah, it is actually.
Oh, interesting, because we literally in the very first quest you conquer Silverwing as a Horde.
Huh.
That's probably why Warsong Gulch is there.
Yes.
Yeah. And I see the Horde entrance is at the lumber camp, Warsong lumber camp over there.
No, it's actually in the crossroads. Just in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like the red portal, because they used to have like red portals to enter PvP instances.
Yeah, it's just the far north, right before you get entrance. There's like a camp there, which is where you get your first set of quests when you go into Ashenvale, or from the crossroads stuff at the very north.
But I thought the crossroads were in the Barrens. You can't have multiple crossroads. That doesn't make any sense.
God damn it.
I did actually think you meant crossroads in the Barrens, and was like, what are you talking about?
Yes. No, I know, but no, it's in Barrens, to be clear. It's in the very north part of the Barrens. Is where you
right, okay. So
you never gave us war songs. The fact that when it's the very third of the three places you go to the Zormstrand for one, right? The second one you go to Splinter Tree, and the third one is a scout that's actually some explores from Ashenvale into Ajar and back and forth, and that scout is the final one. You have no quest associated with him. You walk through Warsong. You see this giant towering thing. You see the vastland thing, and there's not a single quest. You have one. There is no purpose of you to do anything here. It's amazing. I love that moment, because every little second you have to fight for every little bit of land you have, right? You literally open the zone by walking 5 feet, and then we're in the middle of a battle, an invasion. We're in war, and then we get there, and that's how we end the zone. It's kind of an eerie ending, which I really liked. Also didn't like. It's like, because what you find most beautiful as you go through is like actually exploring all these different things, all these different like cultures, all these different beautiful like landscapes of the weirdness of the world, and then you come finally to where orc dominance is fully established, and it's just that. I don't know. I cried when I saw that. It was pretty intense for me.
Damn.
Yeah, but you cry at everything, so that doesn't mean anything.
That's not true.
Oh,
I don't cry at everything.
Oh no, there's a bird outside. It's so beautiful.
Well, if it's an especially beautiful bird, I am in my well within my right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, okay. How many birds have you cried at this week?
What? None actually.
Yeah, I don't believe you. Lies.
Joanna has cried at birds, though.
Oh, by the way, this is also one of the first appearances of dragons. So you don't really engage with this as part of the quest line, but if you go to the northeastern part of the zone, there is a bunch of extremely high level green dragons that, if you get close to them, will kill you.
Yeah, don't go there. It's bad.
I do kind of like the way the Classic WoW sort of builds the mystique of dragons by having these like hostile high level areas near low level ones to like know that, hey, these don't fuck with these. Sort of similar to the way the welcome dragon exists in burnings in if you try to go from Red Ridge to Burning Steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's another thing Classic does really well. Just like having things actually seem really scary, in a way that Cataclysm just doesn't.
Yes, it's true.
All right,
we should probably get to Cataclysm now.
Yeah, I think we've covered vanilla pretty well. So Cataclysm Ashenvale. The first thing
I hate the zone. I hate the zone. Sorry.
Everything is on fire. There's wars. Everything is burning. There's no peace. There is. You go to Astrodars. It's on fire. You go to the like shrine and you find like where the paladin used to be. He's dead because fuck you. The horde killed the paladin dude that you liked. How dare you? How dare they? And then everything is under siege. There's big catapults everywhere. There's a volcano in the middle of the zone with a big fire elemental. So that's my summary of Ashenvale. Does that cover it pretty well?
Yeah, God, one of my favorite things is we get a Splinter T, and you have this like Splinter T is under like siege by the Alliance now. Good job, Alliance! You finally figured out that you have to actually fight the horde. Good work. And we're
only because the Drain Eyes were like, "Hey guys, you know there's orcs down there," and then the Night Elves were like, "Huh? What? What are you talking about? There haven't been orcs there ever before."
It's like have you checked Silverwing in the last like 10 years? They're like, no.
Why would I?
I don't think that's true.
No, I kind of think it is. That's based on like the actual contrast between the Alliance and the Horde in the original Ashenvale. That's what I think, because the Horde treats the Alliance way more seriously than the Alliance treats the Horde. I think that's really important.
I think that the Night Elves are really portrayed. Like, I think something that really struck me in Forest Song in Classic, Forest Song is huge. It's like a big place. It's got multiple like little not tents exactly, but little places where there's clearly supposed to be people. And in that entire area, there's one guy. Dude. There's literally just one guy. He's like, yeah, I'm just chilling here, you know?
There's
I feel just the way that because they're immortal, Night Elves are just so like they're very arrogant and slow moving, and they expect everyone else to be.
And the orcs are the opposite. They're pretty short-lived, violent creatures.
Yeah.
But like one of the questions, like you had sent the Splinter Tree. You're like, oh, Splinter Tree's under a spell. You got to go and protect it. You get there, and they're like, oh yeah, there's Night Elves there. You literally see this giant Night Elf army around the side of Splinter Tree. And you're like, yeah, well, those are important, but like let's ignore those for now. You got to go and take care of the satyrs and the demons. I'm like, why?
Oh my god!
Something similar happens
too.
I'm like, there's an army right there. So we go and deal with those things. Accidentally, while we're killing the demons, we find a source of power, which we then use to attack the Night Elves entirely randomly. What?
That would be so easily fixed.
Choice.
That would be such an easy fix. They were just like the demons have power that we can use, and like set up this like evil warlock dude.
It's pretty clear when you play the Horde side that there's like crazy corruption going on, though.
Yeah, it's true. Like everyone's insane.
No, not insane. Like I mean, just like morally compromised. Completely. Like they're all out for their own good. Completely.
There's also a literally corrupt guy at Splinter Tree.
Yeah, in both senses of the word, the warlock.
Yes. I also feel like it's worth.
He's literally a warlock guy who's like working with the demons, and he's like, no. He's like super coy and weird about it. I'm like, why is this guy like this? The zone made no sense, and I don't understand any of it. Things happened. Basically, the exact same things happened, except you killed more Night Elves, and then you went home, and you're like, what is the zone?
The Alliance side is definitely more changed, but like I do want to mention that like the same fucking thing happens where you go to like Maestra's post.
That's not exactly true. That's not exactly true. Because you are directed to quests that like send you to deal with other things, but you also immediately get quests that are like, okay, fight the guys right here. To be fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but at the same,
you literally can't fight the guys right there. They're a bunch of super powerful elite enemies that will kill you if you get near them.
See, that's worse. That's worse.
That is worse. That is worse.
So you have to sneak out the back to go kill demons, I guess.
That's crazy. They literally said you're too low level for this. Go fucking kill some goddamn boars or something.
Also, there's a couple quests they actually kept around, such as like the Night Elf has to be cured of disease, because that's still around apparently. That's still a problem.
She's too sexy and she's always dying. Just how Torin likes.
It's true. It is how I like.
Okay. I do feel like we should probably address the elephant in the room.
Can we talk about Vol'jin again?
I'm down.
Yes!
There are trolls in the zone, but I feel like let's address the elephant in the room. The biggest thing you'll probably notice when you go to Cataclysm is not Vol'jin. He's not in Cataclysm.
No, but it could be. It could be.
The biggest thing you'll probably notice in Castle Ashenvale is that the whole like center of the zone is taken up by a giant fucking volcano with a ground of ash and a giant fire elemental taking up the whole place. So that's pretty fucked up. Like you can like literally, it's so big that you can like see it from like halfway across the zone. It doesn't really do anything. He just sort of chills there and like shouts things about fire. And it is subject to
I thought you meant the volcano. I like you saying the volcano just chills there. I'm like, do you expect the volcano to move somewhere?
No, the fire elemental in the volcano.
This volcano is really just chilling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actively erupting, so I don't know if you call that chilling.
That's true.
Nah, that's chilling. He's chilling.
So anyway, you go to the
in a hot way.
So you go to the place, and then you go to the place. You fucking
not in a hot way. God fucking damn it, Awen. I hate you.
What? Huh? What happened?
You said chilling in a hot way. It took me a few seconds, and I was like, what?
Everyone reacted because it was so bad, and they were ignoring it.
I was ignoring it.
I was like, apparently.
Exactly.
So, I feel like it's worth mentioning that this fire elemental is subject to the worst boss fight ever. So okay, you go find a worgen or goblin shaman. They are not existing in the same place. They exist in the same place in the game, and you talk to a worgen if you are our alliance, and you talk to a goblin if you are a horde. There is no clear there are no clear continuity between these parts of the zone. And more on that when we talk about the furbolgs. I am going to get into it with the furbolgs.
Bro, he mad.
Yes, I am mad that there is non-continuity in the zone between the alliance and horde side.
Bro, he mad.
Bro, he mad.
Anyway, the worst. Anyway, after you deal with some of the lesser fire elementals, you like talk to a wind spirit who says, "All right, I'm going to give you the power to fly up there and deal with the fire thing." And it is the worst rail shooter of all time.
It is pretty bad, yeah.
It's so bad. I'm like, what am I even doing here? You hit a button and you wait like. Then you wait like a second. You hit the button again. You hit it again, and every so often you get on fire. You hit the button, turns up off fire. You do that for like 5 minutes. It's so long. It's just like, what is happening?
You go back down, and you're like, yeah, you dealt with the fire elemental. Why?
That was remember, length equals gravity, guys. Length equals gravity.
The zone.
Not for the alliance, but
that's how we ended the zone. We're like, yep, yeah, you're done. Funnily enough, actually, the Horde, the Alliance have different quest givers for this quest, but they're in the same place. They just like turned the one character into two different people, depending on whether you're Alliance or Horde, which is very, very funny.
Which is an annoying bit of non-continuity, but like it's not the worst bit of because like again, in the Southern Barrens, which was an active war zone, they had a place where they could have done this, but they didn't. They had the Earthen Ring Alliance and Horde representatives both there at the same time, and like had like an uneasy place where like you're not really attacking each other. That was cool. I liked that.
It doesn't really make sense that the Earthen Ring, like they're not there as representatives of the Horde or Alliance. They're there as representatives of the Earthen Ring. It doesn't make sense.
But like, why is it a different NPC for each? Like, why did you do it this way?
Yeah, you should just have one. Like, because again, the Earthen Ring is neutral. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I liked how it worked in the Barrens, where you had the orc representative and the Wildhammer dwarf representative, and you got like effectively the same quests, but like they were communicating with different parts, with the implication that the separation intention was still there. I thought that was kind of cool in the Barrens. Not the case here. It's just the same NPC but different for some reason. So the Furbolgs, the Cataclysm iteration of the Furbolgs is weird. We talked a little bit about the northern stuff where the Alliance says, oh, the trolls have deliberately given these Furbolgs the items to be artifacts to be used as a weapon against the Alliance. And the Horde says, oh, these Furbolgs stole our artifacts and then turned evil and became crazy. Which I guess is fine. That part is not necessarily contradictory because it just, is the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that I actually like that. That makes sense. Like,
that's kind of cool.
The Alliance, of course, would blame the Horde for doing anything, even if the Horde had no actual active.
No, that
because
makes
there's
sense.
a war.
Like
that part,
they're just lying.
No. That part. Well, they're not lying. They're just
they're assuming the worst. They're assuming
because they're at war
because they hate the trolls.
Yeah, I remember
that part I liked.
I like that because it's a clear. To be clear, it's a clear continuity from Classic 2, where the Alliance don't really understand what the Horde are doing in Ashenvale. Like, it doesn't really. They're so just miss the point of it and just don't understand what's going on.
I think that's a good thing. I like that.
Again, that was the part I did like. This was getting me into the part I didn't like. So the Foul Wield, the Urbolg tribe to the south, where like the Horde had that cool event where you had to like kill the gauntlet of Furbolgs and like kill their chief. They said, "Oh yeah, Alliance should get that quest too." And the way they do it is they have you talk to the dude, the Furbolg again, who this time is actually able to realize that, oh yeah, you're not a Furbolg. You are a Night Elf pretending to be a Furbolg. I recognize this, but I don't care because I'm going to issue you a new quest, which is to deal with these Furbolgs that have turned against our tribes and sold them out to the Horde. And like they have to some degree. Like you see a bunch of Furbolg, and like there is something that like indicates that this is true. There's a bunch of Furbolg that are friendly in a penned up at the Silverwind, where the orcs have taken control, and you do free them to attack the orcs at another point. But the thing is, there's a free place with Furbolg where, like, as an Alliance player, you have no reason to like say this is untrue. We say, oh yeah, these Furbolg have sold us out to the Horde. The chief must die so that someone proper can like take control and lead a rebellion against these invaders.
And and honestly, that would make sense considering that in Classic, the Horde basically did take over them. They basically replaced their chieftain with you. You became the chieftain of the Foul as a Horde,
which would totally work if it weren't for the fact that they give the Horde the same fucking quest.
That's true. We kill the Furbolgs again. We're like, and there's no real reason. It's like, oh, Furbolgs, they kind of suck. You don't like them. They're bad.
They should have just given the gauntlet to the Alliance and had the orcs do something, the Horde do something else in that area.
Yeah, have the Furbolgs give a quest to do something to Astronaut. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It just makes literally no sense. The entire Horde zone makes no sense. The Horde, the Alliance part of like this zone seems a little more thoughtful and interesting, but the Horde, it just felt like the most random garbage I've ever played in my entire life.
Yeah.
This is my number 2 least favorite zone I've ever played in WoW.
Damn, it's Elwyn still beats it though.
Yes.
Oh, or do you mean ever played? Are you talking about fucking the Shadowlands shitty zone?
I like the Shadowlands zones better than Elwyn or the zone.
I mean, I know I'm specifically the shitty zone of Shadowlands.
Yes, I like that zone. I like that zone better than those two zones because at least.
Oh wait, the Maw. You like the Maw?
Better than zone, yes.
Better than Ashenvale Cataclysm. Yes.
Okay, the Maw does have style points.
That's true.
This looks cool.
Okay. Also, floating in the distance is awesome.
Yeah.
Also,
no, it looks good. It looks good.
Though let's say though to be fair, saying the Alliance here is like more thought out is implying the Alliance side is good. It's not.
I thought it was. It seems more interesting than the Horde zone, which literally they just seem to just roll dice for random stuff happening and then have stupid dialogue from stupid. What's the guy? What did the guy say again? What was the funny quote I had from the Warlock? I'm trying to remember what it was. It was.
What? No, there are no demons there, or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, what? No, there's no. That would be crazy. He sends you over there. You turn back, and he's like literally a demon.
That sounds
you're
like me when I like DM for like little kids.
Yeah, that's correct. It was the most random thing ever.
What I would say when I'm DMing for little kids. So because oh my god, that's crazy.
It's so funny. It's so obvious, but you literally have to go back to fucking to Ogre Mark to check to make sure this guy actually has the commission he said to, and they're like, who are you talking about? So I'm like, what is this? This is wartime. We should just fucking execute this guy in the spot for causing problems.
Mm-hmm.
We're under siege.
It's so weird that this leads into like Stonetalon Mountain and then Southern Barrens, which are like some of the most intense and specifically trying to deal with the real problems around war. And then you have this absolute comedy like happening in like Ashenvale for some reason.
Oh, also, there's a satyr guy who gets as part of the curing.
Oh, I actually liked that. I thought that was really cool.
I thought it's a cool idea, but like it's resolved in the course of 2 quests, and it's like not remarked upon like at all. It's just like you see, it's so like low key in a way that like this should be a bigger deal. You should have more time. Like you get this quest, you say, oh, you have to talk to this person who is like the satyr who is seeking redemption, and you find the satyr, and he says, I'm seeking redemption. His dialogue is all about like how he hates his form and he wants to like get things fixed.
He's also like kind of a dick.
He's kind of a dick still, but like he's clearly trying to do good. And then you like do his quest, and he says this needs one more element to do so. It needs blood, and he slits his own throat, dies and is immediately reborn as a night elf.
He cuts his heart out because he needs a heart.
Oh yeah, it's a heart. Yeah, he cuts
his throat.
I forgot how he killed himself. I'm sorry.
It is way cooler imagery to cut out your own heart and give it to the player. That's so much cooler.
And then he stands back up in a beam of light and is reborn as a night elf. And I'm like, okay, this is a cool idea. This is 2 quests, and it's all like pretty much quest text. Like there's like not much of a thing. He's just like his model is just like he makes Satyr death noise, and then model is replaced with a night elf. It's just like the presentation was really weak, is what I'm saying, for something that should have been like a thing you spent a longer time with in the zone. I wish we like had more quests with like maybe first capturing this satyr who wants to redeem himself, like maybe doing something like substance. It's just like, hey, here's a satyr who wants to redeem himself.
Way cheaper thoh. If you capture the satyr and
or not really capture, but more like he gave himself as like part of like a satyr thing. You fun with them, and like he gave himself up. It feels like a thing that should be more important than. Hey, here's a satyr who wants to redeem himself. Hey, quest 1. Here's a satyr who wants to redeem himself. Quest 2. The satyr has redeemed himself. That's it. Okay, that's all you get.
I feel like it's worse if you're like, oh, he wasn't trying to redeem himself before. Like it's clear from the quest text that he's been trying to redeem himself for a really long time.
Right.
And no matter what he does, it doesn't do anything. And you're seeing the end of his story.
I would have liked to see the rest of the story.
I don't really have a problem with it. I actually do like it.
That's
personally.
Fair. I do not like the way it was presented. I'm sorry.
Because I think it feels cheaper to like say, oh, you get to watch his entire because it wouldn't have felt like as hard, if you know what I mean. Because it's like, oh, okay, you can just change it on a dime. Whereas like this man has clearly been working for years for this.
I just would have liked to have seen more than again. I want to reiterate, this isn't the culmination of the quest. This is part of a different quest. This is a small part of a different quest.
Like, I don't have a problem with seeing a part, like a part of someone's story that happens when you're doing something else. Personally, I don't have a problem with that, especially when you're talking about something that's trying to portray an entire world with a lot of people having like super complicated lives. It's like you only get to see a snapshot of their life, and this is the snapshot you get to see of his life.
Okay, but what if it's something as significant as a satyr redeeming himself and turning back into a night elf, a thing that should be impossible, that deserves more real estate than, again, literally 2 quests and small dialogue?
I mean, I think that's fair, but I don't think that's a problem. Like, I don't have a problem with the way that they did this quest. I think, yeah, sure, like, if you want to focus on this, that would be a cool idea, but you don't have to.
But they could have it. It would have been more interesting than a lot of the stupid volcano flesh.
So as the Zoram strand, we see the horde of the Navy shows up, but it's all on fire. Like, why is it on fire? It's like, oh, they didn't actually fight the Alliance. The ships just suck and they sunk. So go in the water and pick up their stuff.
Your side is in.
What's wrong with the zone?
Okay. Is it time to get into favorites and least favorites, I think? Because I think it might be.
I actually don't know if they say that the Horde Zone is just nonsense. Like, it's just AI generated. I don't know.
If you before that.
No, I feel to be fair. I think if you put, hey, make a Cataclysm zone where the Night Elves and Orcs fight each other into ChatGPT, you would get something that is not exactly the same, but not entirely dissimilar to Cataclysm Ashenvale.
True. Yeah, it's yes. Man, what a zone.
It did happen.
What was your least favorite thing about Vanilla Ashenvale?
My least favorite thing about Vanilla Ashenvale was how the zone felt so like interested in like the majesty of the zone, but when it got to Splintertree, it felt like we went through this hard shift into sort of goblin and orc, sort of more conquest and capitalist focused ideas about what colonialism, what taking the zone means. And I feel like they could have gone a lot harder into that element, and it felt like they sort of relied a little bit too much on just like seeing Warsong and its devastation as like the only element of that. I wish there was a little more like actual experience of orcs talking about what it actually means to them. That was like, it's very minor complaint. This is actually one of my favorite zones in the game. So that was my least favorite part, was just the fact that I think, yeah.
I feel lame for saying this, but my least favorite part of Alliance Ashenvale is the layout and pacing. I like a lot of the quests that are done. I don't love them as much as I think the Horde side of the seems like it was amazing. But God, the single dude in Forest Song that you have to run all the way back to the western side of the zone, and then all the way back to Forest Song, and then all the way back like twice for basically just.
It's actually a good decision because it's portraying how little they care about your time because they used to be immortal. Like
True.
Actually,
no,
true.
that's not. You can't use immortality to excuse bad game design.
We just did.
I just fucking did.
Also, Forest Song is right next to the Warsong Outpost and north of the Demon area. So
okay, but there's one guy. What's he gonna do?
They could have put more guys there. That was a game decision. Anyway, that's
such a weird choice.
Yeah, I think the one guy being the only one dude in Forest Song when there are multiple quests in that area hurts the zone, I think, especially with the fact that you don't engage with the stuff that's the other stuff that's right next to Forest Song with the War Song and the Fell Fire.
No, shut up. That's what I was gonna talk about. Shh.
Oh, it's fine. I'll make my least favorite be the layout because it is legitimately, it's so fucking bad. The zone's layout is quite bad for the Alliance.
Yeah. My least favorite part of the vanilla Ashenvale. I think I really like this zone. Because I mean, like the vibe was I was like, oh, it's pretty good. But then I was going through everything that happened in the zone. I was like, wait. I actually like all of these things. That's weird. Okay. But my one of my big problems with the zone is the way that you just don't acknowledge that there's a bunch of demons in the south, the south part, and they've clearly been there for a really long time, and it's not really acknowledged. You go and fight the satyrs, which are demons, sort of. But then you just don't acknowledge the infernals that are just running around down there. It seemed really weird to me, especially because it's pretty easy to link up the rest of the demons to the satyrs, which you do actually fight. So I think that was the thing that bothered me.
And just to make sure, the Horde doesn't go down there either, right?
No. We don't
yeah, you know what's? Do you know what's there?
We comment on there a few times, but we don't actually go.
Okay. Also, there's a monument. That is the place where the monument to Grom Hellscream's ultimate sacrifice, where he destroyed Manaroth.
It looks really cool, actually.
It's a cool monument there, and
it's
you don't
cool.
have any reason to go there. And the monument's there in Vale, you just don't go there. That's I think part of why they added those in TBC, where they now to be fair, they also fixed the zone in TBC for me when they added the Draenei, made more engagement with the Warsong and Fellfire Hill. And just and moved a bunch of the quests that should have been in Forest Song into Forest Song.
Yeah.
So just that literally fixes my main complaint. So if you fix that, the zone becomes amazing.
Yeah.
Well, the zone becomes solid. I don't know if the Alliance through line.
I think it's really good.
I think the lack of a through line means it can't be wowed to me, even if they did fix those issues. But it's still, I think that would push it from compelling to great for me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the zone is top of great to wowed for me, but
fair enough.
Yeah, for me, my favorite part of classic Ashenvale was the very first quest you get in the zone. I want to know. I want you to check on the 3 scouts who have gone across the zone and just see what is the actual state of what we have here. The fact is that the commanders don't even know what the Orc conquest is like in this area. It's so diffuse, so individually sort of driven by these different groups, these different soldiers, different people, almost different adventuring groups of people sort of almost in awe, or sort of captured by the spirit of this night elf place. And you have this concept of the zone and just characters just being there's something strange and magical about this place that sort of pushes me beyond what I usually am. This weird spirituality that a lot of the characters sort of see. And that all sort of summing up in the very last of the scouts, you come up onto Warnsong and you see this devastation and just the Orc place, and you're well, that's the end of that. This is sort of this feeling of loss. I think that's just one of my favorite moments in all of Classic WoW. Not my number one favorite moment in all of Classic WoW was just that one. It was so good.
I think my favorite part of Vanilla Ashenvale. I admittely don't.
Fuck you. My favorite part of Vanilla Ashenvale is the Worgen questline because it's so.
Oh, damn it! You just said that so you could steal it from me.
Yes, I did.
I think beyond that, I gotta give it to the moment in Black Fathom Deeps when you come upon the ruins of a loon overrun by this cult. It's so cool. It's similar to me, like to the moment where you come across the ship in Dead Mines, where you like go through like this long winding cavern and come to the true purpose of the zone, the true thing that is being guarded by this Naga, the real problem. And as you like emerge into this temple where the idols of Elune have been taken down and replaced with profane fish-like stuff, where the cult has corrupted this place and is going to and worships this strange beast. Just like that whole area at the end of Black Fathom is so cool. What was your least favorite part of Cataclysm, Ashenvale?
Every second of it. No, my least favorite part has to be when they send you to Splinter Tree and you're like, okay, we're about to finally do it. Like we just like solved the sort of case of like a blood elf diplomat being assassinated, right? We took care of them. We're all getting ready. It's okay, cool. We have all these like reasons to hate the Alliance. When you finally go and like liberate Splinter Tree, we get there and it's like, nope, go and kill satyrs and take their horns and like, I don't know, like sell them on the black market. Who knows? And I'm just like, why? What's even the point? If you wanted like a hardcore, intensive sort of bam, bam, bam sort of war zone with some kind of comedy, you could have done that. But like, you had to actually do that. You had to actually commit to that experience, right? That's what Stonetalon Mountains, I think, very much is. Until, of course, it goes deadly serious at the very end. And this one just does this. Instead, we had the scene of the thing is we go to Ashtanar, we bomb Ashtanar, and they're like, okay, cool, Ashtar's been bombed. What now? Well, there's like an elemental. I'm like, oh, cool, shoot the elemental. Game over. It's like,
Speaking of which,
I feel like going into Splinter Tree for me is the sort of that represents it the best. It's like what we're not. It's just there's no focus. There's no idea here. It's just we do quests because they're quests.
I think my least favorite part of the zone is the fact that the Alliance and Horde relationships to the foul-wheeled Furbolg literally contradict one another. Like, they just can't happen in the same place. There is an outright continuity thing that is just like, the Alliance thing is predicated on the Horde being in control of the foul-wheeled, and the Horde's engagement with the foul-wheeled is predicated on the fact that, no, they don't, because they're causing problems. Why? Why would you do this? Why would you say, oh yeah, this chieftain has sold us out to the Horde, when the Horde go and fight the same dude in the same quest? You can't do that. What the fuck? This bothers me more than I thought it would. I thought I was going to say like a different thing for my least favorite thing, but like this actually bothers me. It weakens World of Warcraft as a place. It effectively makes it seem like the people who wrote the questing of the zone were not comparing notes or like looking or like writing together at all. They effectively just wrote two different things, pasted them in the same zone, and it worked well enough. So they just did that, and I know that's not true because the other engagement with the Furbolgs is good.
Yeah, especially after Stonetalon Mountains and Southern Barrets, they're just so much more careful sort of engagements with that same thing. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it seems weird. My least favorite part is, I think I'm gonna go with the volcano thing, not because of the terrible boss fight, but because of the way that Cataclysm was supposed to be a cataclysmic event that like ripples through the entire world and affects it negatively in like lots and lots of different ways. Like in the Baron, when you see the scar for the first time across it, it is a huge moment. It is important and is causing huge problems throughout the zone. And it's very interesting and cool. In this zone, there is a big volcano, and there is an elemental on top of that volcano. And what does this do? Does this manifest itself anywhere else in the zone? Are they having environmental problems that have to be dealt with? Is the wildlife getting scared? Is there something? No, we're not going to talk about any of that. Who cares? Just kill this elemental and it's fine. It's like, it really lessens the impact. It's like, okay, we have to throw some sort of cataclysm-like thing in here. So let's do this. And I think it's just like super weak and annoying because hot take, Cataclysm is one of my favorite expansions. I know, crazy. I really like it, but it's like stuff like this where I'm like, no, stop being bad. It makes it harder for you to defend. God, pissing me off.
It's especially annoying because like for me, one of the things that makes Ashenvale such a special zone in Classic is that sort of giant, sort of wandering, like wildness to it. And it's like we have so if you're going to make a big ugly scar in the middle of it to sort of disrupt that, there has to be a point of that thing, you know? Why would you ruin that thing?
You have to. It has to be effective. It's like the big scar in the Barrens is hugely effective because it's a huge zone that everyone remembers running across all the time, and now you literally can't cross it.
Yep.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing about Cataclysm Ashenvale?
Ooh, actually, I have one good one. There's exactly one good part of this entire zone for the Horde.
Oh yeah.
Besides, the guy's like, no demons here.
That guy.
That's objectively hilarious, though.
But no, so remember the days of the 3 original scouts I have to go and visit. The last one is the one that sort of patrols between like the near Warsong across into Ajar and back and forth, right? So he's like, basically he's a quest. He finally has a quest for you this time. There's no quest original. He was like, he's like, oh my goodness, I'm such a like remote post. I'm always doing my work and I feel like a good soldier, but like really I'm kind of lonely and sad. And like there's this girl I really like over at Splinter Tea, but I haven't talked to her for a while. I feel like she might have like forgotten that we were engaged. So can you pick up like 10 flowers for me and like bring him to her, right? And it's just so cute. But then you go to her and put it up, and she's like, "Oh, he remembered. That's so nice." Oh, they're fucking night elves out there. There's a giant army. If she's like, "Yeah, that's really sweet," but like we're about to fucking die, so we should probably pay attention to that. That's also part of why I hate the whole story of the Splinter Tree. Because that's one of the 2 quests that lead into Splinter Tree to get you ready to sort of like deal with the Night Elf invasion, and then you go like, now we're just gonna do demons. It's like we have
the setup is right there.
It's right there. This girl wants to see her fucking fiance, so she needs to fight the. I don't know. You never talk to her ever again, of course. Good quest though. Good quest.
my favorite part of my favorite part of Cataclysm Ashenvale is Night Elves 5, the music you may have heard at the start of this episode. The music track that plays in some of the war zones, specifically at Maestra's Post and Rainwood Retreat. It's gorgeous. It is one of my favorite pieces of music in Cataclysm, and I love the way it does like as a battle theme for a Night Elf themed zone between the Alliance and the Horde here. It's so good. The places where it plays are not as cool as the track itself. This track is wasted on a zone this bad. But yeah, that's my favorite thing. It's that specific track in music, Night Elves 5.
My favorite part about this zone, and we literally didn't talk about this at all. Oopsies. Is the Draenei and how the Draenei and Night Elves interact in the zone. Like in Forest Song, where there used to be just one guy, there is now also a bunch of Draenei. And then when you go down to Splinter Tree, there's also there's 3 quest scribbers. One of them's an ancient, one of them's a Draenei, and one of them is a Night Elf. And just the way that the Draenei and Night Elf have just like a lot of crossover in the way that their cultures work. Respect for the past, worship of ancient powerful beings that are directly present in their life that they can communicate with, like Naru versus ancients. And just seeing the connect between these 2 peoples, which makes both the Night Elves and the Draenei feel like more part of the Alliance. Like we're feeling more integrated now, and I think that's cool. I like that.
Would you recommend Classic Ashenvale?
Absolutely, no question about it.
I think it's good. I think
it's solid. It's certainly better than the other option, Kalimdor, which is Stonetalon.
Correct. You should go.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
So far, I have to say the orc progression from Durotar to Barrens to Ashenvale is an incredible set of zones, and I'm very happy with that. That's a great beginning.
And I quite like the Night Elf one for Teldrassil to Dark Shore to Ashenvale as well.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Those are both really strong. It's funny like how it was less thought, but the less work. It was more rushed, but it had objectively better flows to it.
Yeah,
so far.
I think it's partially because I think they learned more about what they do, and because they designed them later, they had more experience and knew how to put these zones together better. Well, what zone are we going to next then? Now that we're done with that great / terrible zone,
it's gonna be
Duskwood.
Spooky, scary skeletons. Yes,
and we get to all be together again because this place has only Alliance quests.
Yep, it'll be fun. I'm very excited. I never actually played Duskwood more than a few quests in Classic, so I'm very excited for it. I never played Cataclysm Duskwood.
Let's see if it works. All right, so then...
I remember there being like a super creepy quest line in Cataclysm that was really cool.
Oh yeah, the Stelvin Mistmantle stuff. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
That stuff is really cool.
All right, so I think that'll be it for us. So I've been Ari.
Torin.
I'm still tired, unfortunately.
Bye.
And this has been another. We'll see you in the next episode of Wild by Zones. Bye.